Tonight on our news weekend, government teaming up with a local company in a deal that promises millions in savings and big upgrades to BPL's power plant. We'll tell you all about it. Plus, 3 down, 2 more years to go. The Progressive Liberal Party marks its 3rd year in office with a renewed focus on its party's mission. And later, in tonight's edition of our Animal of the Week, we introduce you to Hope, a cheerful pup ready to bring excitement to your home. Our news, the weekend edition, starts right now. Welcome to our news, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Berthany McDermott. The government has announced a major partnership with Focal and Shell to bring LNG power to New Providence, promising over $100 million in annual savings and a major upgrade to the island's energy infrastructure. The announcement comes as New Providence customers grappled with high electricity bills coupled with power outages throughout the summer. The plan was unveiled during local Focal's annual general meeting at the University of the Bahamas this week. President Dexter Adderley says it will feature a phased rollout of 60 megawatts of LNG power at Clifton Pier,
bringing the total capacity to 130 megawatts, owned by you, by Focal. This involves introducing LNG at Clifton Pier, representing the first large-scale LNG infrastructure in the country. This involves introducing 177 megawatts of combined cycle power at Blue Hills, which would be the most efficient power plant in the country. The plant will provide baseload capacity for the island of New Providence.
Focal has teamed up with General Electric, one of the largest generation companies in the world. Sunshine Insurance Chairman Franklin Wilson praised the partnership.
The engines that are going to be turned on very shortly at BPL, those engines were in demand in a number of other countries, including one of the very wealthy Middle East countries. We were only able to get those 2 engines because of the reputation of Focal.
Well, while New Providence residents have long dealt with flooding in certain areas, recent weeks have seen even more communities hit hard by severe flooding. Viral videos and mounting calls for government action highlight the issue. However, Deputy Director of Public Works Damian Francis reveals that your litter and debris might be contributing to the problem.
There seems to be quite a lot of fine debris that is on our roadways that end up into the drainage system. So it's an ongoing maintenance issue, removing that debris, unclogging the drains to make sure that the wells and drainage system works.
Francis adds that, unfortunately, there is another side to the issue.
You have countries that have hills and they have rivers and so on, so they can discharge into those. But then again, they have high velocity of drainage systems coming down and washing out the roads and so on. We don't have that issue, but we have an issue of that we're very low lying. So we have a high water table. Most of our drainage systems are wells, and you have a situation where if the water table is too high, the wells don't really perform that well. And then in some instances we've had where the water comes through the well and floods the roadway itself. But we have systems again in place where we put valves on the wells to prevent that situation, but then the water can't dissipate fast enough, and then you have flooding.
Well, the Progressive Liberal Party is celebrating its 2021 election victory today in a special service at the East Street Church of God of Prophecy. 3 years later, Prime Minister Philip Davis took the opportunity to reflect on his government's journey since taking office. Speaking to the congregation, Davis highlighted key milestones, including what he says was rescuing the country from the brink of financial crisis, breathing new life into the tourism sector, and fostering job creation partnerships and investments. However, Davis was candid in acknowledging that despite the progress, there is still much work to be done.
I promise to share some of the lessons we are learning along the way, and this is one of them. There are no shortcuts to get from here to there. There are a lot of steps on the journey from nation in crisis to the promised land. Education is a great example. We can all agree that across-the-board excellence and lifelong learning will be central to our national development and to advancing the dreams of our people. Many of the opportunities our children have and the skills they will need when they graduate in 2030 and beyond are likely ones we can hardly imagine today, given the pace of technological change.
The F&M faced a staggering loss in September 2021 when the Davis-led PLP swept the polls, capturing 32 of the 39 seats in Parliament. Speaking in line with Prime Minister Davis, PLP Chairman and Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell acknowledged while the victory was decisive, the real work is far from over. He called on party supporters and parliamentary colleagues to stay focused on the mission.
That mission is to feed the hungry, raise up the poor and the oppressed. It was set out for us a long time ago by the founders in their first platform. That mission has not changed. Why do we repeat these on all these occasions? Our history and legacy. That is our strongest weapon. It is potent, and no other political party can claim it. Majority rule, national independence, the creation of the social security system, universal education and health care, and national defense.
And with campaign season fast approaching, Mitchell says he's determined to retain his seat as the Member of Parliament for Fox Hill. Mitchell, who has represented the constituency for just shy of 20 years, shows no signs of stepping back. Speaking on the sidelines of the Africa CARICOM Day last Friday, he revealed that he has already begun the process of retaining his candidacy.
I have to go through the process like everyone else. I'm halfway through it. My branch just finished doing their assessment with the party. I did my own assessment maybe 6 weeks ago. So the steps are there. The Lord willing, if I'm offered the candidacy again, the nomination again, I plan to accept.
Should he be re-elected, Mitchell says his plan is to expand the Bahamian footprint globally.
Right now, there are 146 countries that allow Bahamians to pass through their country without visas. We need to make that 192, which is all the countries in the UN. There's some hard nuts to crack, like New Zealand, Australia, the United States. But we've got to make it easier. The country is too small for people to be making these funny decisions about whether Bahamians can come or go.
When our news weekend comes back from the break, 34 years of service. The Grand Bahama Home for the Aged highlights some key issues as it prepares to mark its special anniversary. Plus, our Joshua Williams tells us about a Family Island youth band making waves and major impact on its community. Stay tuned for the scenes from their latest performance when our news weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
This year, the Grand Bahama Home for the Aged is celebrating its 34th anniversary and will focus on raising awareness about dementia and missing elderly individuals. Located on Forbuster Drive in Freeport, the home also serves as a daycare for local children. Founder Agatha Thompson tells us how the home is working to sensitize the community to the plight of the elderly facing dementia, as well as those who are missing. Philip Stubbs, a dedicated supporter of the home who has been missing for some time, is one of them. Thompson says the home is still trying to find him.
We can come up with ways and some way to bring him home and to prevent others from going missing, to prevent the elderly, those with dementia, from walking the streets of Grand Bahama and because people see them and they think, well, oh, they're just walking the streets. But no, they're sometimes trying to find home. So we want to work with the police, with Basra, with the Christian Council, Dr. Tuck and myself and our group who've been doing Alzheimer's Symposium for the past 5 years.
October 1st is the International Day of Older Persons, celebrating seniors and addressing their issues. Thompson says the home will also celebrate its anniversary on the same day. Dr. Pamela Ituk emphasizes the importance of young people recognizing that it's the elderly who paved the way for the present generation.
So we must provide protection and loving care. Those are the two things these elderly people need. And I think if the home provides protection and loving care, we'll see less and less of not only Alzheimer's and dementia, but of those persons who we have seen, unfortunately enough, to be missing.
The Rand Nature Center over on Grand Bahama comprises of 100 acres of natural beauty. The park was acquired by the Rand Nature Center in 1992. And just 1 year later, a Bahama parrot was turned over to the park as a part of the captive breeding program. Now, some 31 years later, the park's beloved mascot has passed away. Megan Shepard tells us more.
She basically acted as a mascot for the Bahama parrot, for that species, here at the Rand Nature Center.
Members of the Rand Nature Center in Grand Bahama, along with the Bahamas National Trust, are mourning the loss of their feathered ambassador. Donnie, the Bahama parrot, had been a beloved resident since 1993, passed away on August 26. Parks manager Joanna Parker shares the sad news of Donnie's passing.
She would have originally lived with a family in Abaco for about 12 years, and around the 1990s she was brought into the program, and she was placed here at the Rand Nature Center from about 1993. Unlike the other birds that would have been part of that program, Donnie was brought as an individual parrot rather than put as part of a mating pair.
Donnie was often the first to greet guests, even before they reached the welcome center. But beyond that, Parker says Donnie was more than just a friendly face. She was an engaging and lively presence who played a key role in educating and exciting both children and visitors.
She was an excellent teaching tool for students to understand the avian environment, or the conservation of an environment that is suitable for the thriving of avian species like the Bahama parrot.
Parker explains just how important the captive breeding program at the Rand Nature Center is.
Donnie was a rescue. Not only did she have issues with her eye, she also had some medical issues in terms of her skin, some lipomas she struggled with as well. So the program allowed for a lot of these species that would not be able to function in the wild to be cared for humanely.
And here's how you can help.
Membership to the Bahamas National Trust helps to provide resources for species like Donnie and others that have been cared for by the Bahamas National Trust. We have different forms of membership where the community can come and get involved.
Donnie was laid to rest in a garden at the center. Reporting for Our News, I'm Megan Shepard.
Thanks for that story, Megan. Well, tonight we spotlight a family island band that not only clinches the national championship, but also provides a valuable opportunity for youth to learn an instrument and engage in positive activities. After performing for top government officials and dignitaries from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, our Joshua Williams spoke with the band members.
The sound of brass, the beat of the drum, and melodies of woodwind instruments make up the Eleuthera Music Masters. It's a group of students comprising of all ages that come together to learn songs, play, and engage in positive activity. Their latest gig, playing at the loan signing for the new North Eleuthera Airport. Band director Sergeant Rudy Pratt describes leading the group as challenging but incredibly rewarding.
Dealing with young persons is rough, you understand, but you have to have a passion. So in working with these young persons, they put the time, they're dedicated, the practice hours, the long hours. I'm thankful and grateful to the parents.
Pratt tells me the members come from all over the island.
This whole program is a partnership between the different settlements of Eleuthera, because what you see here is young persons from Bahama down, straight to Harbour Island, Spanish Wells.
And the combined group is made up of proud members like Timothy Morley and Alexa Brown.
Everybody should start joining. It's pretty intimidating at first, but you'll get used to it.
It's a good thing to join, and I like the music. I like hearing the music and traveling, going different places around the world.
Despite their recent captivating performances and growing popularity, the band's director says putting on a show hasn't been without its challenges. We are in desperate need of funding. We are in desperate need of funding if we want to make this program work. Because there's always more young persons than instruments. Young persons are interested. We try not to let them get discouraged. Funding, Pratt says, can help the group reach even higher heights and hopes their story will move and inspire those in a position to support their growth and success. Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks, Joshua. Well, still to come on Our News Weekend, Paradise Plates is back. We chat with organizers about this year's event, promising a feast of food and fun you won't want to miss.
We're going to see what our triathletes did down in Tobago. We got all that and more coming up next on Our Sports Weekend.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Good evening, happy Sunday. Welcome to Our Sports Weekend. I'm Tej Adderley. We talked about young Bahamian triathletes competing in Trinidad Tobago last night. They turned in a couple of strong performances. We're going to see what they did. Malcolm Menzies and Lonnie Duncombe competed in the World Triathlon Development Regional Cup in Tobago yesterday. The pair put on a strong performance, with Menzies coming 3rd overall. Duncombe finished the course in 6th place. Both athletes' best event was the 750-meter swim portion of the event. Menzies came 2nd in that, and Duncombe came 3rd. Congratulations to our triathletes. Those are 2 names you're going to want to keep an eye on in the future. Now we're going to move over to the Diamond, where 2 Bahamians continued the penultimate series of their season. Sebastian Walcott's Frisco Rough Riders and Kristen Robinson's Amarillo Sod Poodles long series continued on Saturday night. Walcott, the youngest player in AA, went 2 for 6 with 2 runs scored and a game-high 4 RBI, 3 of which came on a screamer of a home run to left field in the 8th inning. It was his first home run at the AA level. On the other side of things, Robinson went 0 for 3. That was the 5th game of their 6-game series. Game 6 was played early today, then they're on to their respective season finales. That's a wrap for Sunday Sports. For Our Sports Weekend, I'm Tej Adderley. Have a great week.
Thanks, Tej. Sports Minister Mario Boleg recently took a trip to New York with a small group to attend the New York Liberty's West Indian Night. The highlight of the evening, Grand Bahamian Jonquel Jones, the Liberty's starting center, who shined brightly as the Liberty defeated the Seattle Storm 77-70. JJ contributed 15 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and blocked 5 shots. But Boleg's support didn't stop at cheering from the sidelines. He also showed his enthusiasm by rocking JJ's newly released KD17 PE sneakers. We asked him about it.
Okay, those shoes feel very, very, very nice. They're a little colorful, but they are comfortable and very nice. But I was happy to be there to share the West Indies night with Jonquel and her team. She put on a powerful performance. I think she had about 8 rebounds and 15 points, as I can recall. Jonquel seems to be the all-star that she is and representing the Bahamas and making us all proud.
But his show of support didn't stop there. The sports minister encouraged all Bahamians to get a pair of JJ's kicks.
The sneakers are online. Many persons have been asking about them. They got 3 different colored pairs of laces that you can choose at your liking that will match the tennis. And so I think that would make it even for both sexes to be able to wear, male and female. But again, I'm very proud of Jonquel. We chat with her and take pictures with her after the game, and she was very happy to see us there supporting her.
When we come back from the break, our Marlena Leonard introduces you to a new pup in need of a loving home. The details when Our News Weekend returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Welcome back to Our News Weekend. Mostly cloudy skies outside the Our News studio today, but will this continue throughout the week? Well, meteorologist Ian McKenzie joins us now with what you need to know. Ian.
Thanks, Berthany, and good evening, Bahamas. Welcome to your Sunday evening forecast. Currently outside our studios, we're under partly cloudy skies with a temperature of 83. Winds are from the east-northeast at 10 miles per hour. Still muggy, feels like temperature of 94. Current temperatures across the country. In our nation's second city, Freeport, we have 84. 83s in Great Harbor Key, the capital, and in Governor's Harbor, 85 in Marsh Harbor, Nicholstown, and Allenstown, Bimini. The Central Bahamas continue with 85s in Kemps Bay, Georgetown, Coburntown, and Arthurstown, Kidd Island, 86 in Deadman's Key, Long Island. The Southeast Bahamas, 86s in Duncantown, Electoral Bay, Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, and in Matthewtown in Nagua, 84 in Abraham's Bay, 87 in Providence, Cialis, Turks, and Caicos. First look now at our satellite imagery, where we have Tropical Storm Gordon still out there, no threat to land mass at this time. We're also watching an area of low pressure just to the south of the Carolinas, expected to possibly develop into a system later this week, cause some coastal flooding along that southeast U.S. coast, as well as some beach erosion and hazardous beach conditions. Boating forecasts across our area, pretty good. Winds variable at less than 10 knots, seas running 3 feet or less, low tide at 12:45 a.m. tomorrow morning, high tide at 6:43 a.m. tomorrow. And in your extended forecast, you got showers of blessings pretty much through most of the week, some clearing by Thursday, then the showers return by the weekend. Highs only getting up into the low 90s, with your lows into the upper 70s, low 80s. That's a wrap in the evening forecast. Make it a great, safe week, everyone.
Thanks, Ian. Well, we're just days away from one of the most highly anticipated and talked about charity events of the year, the 13th annual Hands for Hunger Paradise Plates. The event is set to take place on Saturday, September 21st at the Atlantis Resort. Hands for Hunger Executive Director Keisha Ellis says, like always, attendees can expect lots of food and fun at the signature event.
Every year we get a little bit better, we do things just a little bit differently, but still are always sure to give people the experience that they're coming for, which is a room full of excellent chefs and beverage purveyors and excellent people who are there to support a charity. Persons can expect a few surprises that I'm not going to give away right now, but we have a lot more musical entertainment, we have more artistic entertainment, a few other surprises, and of course about 50 of just the best restaurants in the country. And we're talking, really high-end restaurants, as well as smaller neighborhood restaurants that are just as good as the big boys.
Paradise Plates is one of the organization's biggest fundraising events. With a target goal of $400,000, Ellis says they need your help to make that happen.
We don't get any government donations. Everything that we earn is through our fundraising events, as well as through our individual donations from corporate citizens and individual citizens. So, this is really how we know that, okay, in 2025, we're going to be able to continue our work.
In this weekend's edition of the Humane Society's Dog of the Week, we introduce you to Hope. When he arrived at the Humane Society, his tick infestation was one of the most severe cases many had seen in years. Now fully cleared up, Marlena Leonard tells us Hope is on the road to recovery.
This is Hope, a 2-year-old mini pit bull. Although the sweet boy was happy and relaxed for our interview, his life looked very different just 2 weeks ago when he came into the Bahamas Humane Society's care, infested with ticks.
We were shocked. The amount of ticks on him were unbelievable. He was in such great discomfort. He was very anemic. He had so many ticks between his paws and underneath in his pants. He couldn't even stand or walk.
Moody says he'd been tied out and the neglect had left him shockingly emaciated.
We weren't sure if he would make it. But he's a little fighter. He likes his food. He does woof. He's been very quiet right now, but he's beginning to get personality. and we've fallen in love with him.
Despite his condition on arrival, Hope has been rather lucky, testing negative for heartworm and tick-borne diseases. Now their focus is helping Hope gain a bit more weight. As for the perfect home for him,
somebody who just has some patience and time and love. He is very cuddly also.
Considering the state Hope arrived in, Moody had this message for the public.
What I'd like to say is for people out there who see dogs in their neighbours' yards or going to and from work or school, if you see a dog in distress who's tied out, obviously is not being fed, it has no shelter, you don't see a bowl of water, we would like to hear from you, because we don't want more doggies like this to be out there suffering.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
Thanks for that story, Marlena, and thank you for joining us for Our News Weekend. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Berthany McDermott. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Make it a great week, everyone.